We've got a star-studded lineup here at the THSCA Leadership Summit here in Arlington. We got guests running in, putting on headsets, trying to figure out headsets. He's a coach. Just can't figure out a headset. That feels
out of these.
Yeah. We're joined by the head coach of the North Forney Falcons. It's our friend Marcus Shavers. Coach, how are you, my friend?
Doing well. How are you doing?
I ran out there and I was like, I got to book one more guest. Pickle was on me. Yeah. You know how she is. Mm-hmm. She was on me. She's like, you got to book another guest.
I was like, I want a big name hitter here. I was like, okay, don't miss.
Exactly.
Don't screw this up.
And I came back and I said, I found Marcus Shavers. And your reaction was?
It's the only thing you've ever done right.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I'm a fan.
What's up, man?
What's
yeah,
up?
correct.
You were telling me earlier that you were at the very first, you spoke at the very first THSCA Leadership Summit?
I think it was the first one I remember. But yeah, I spoke here before and it was awesome. Great experience.
Did you, I can't imagine that you would ever think that it would look something like this, because like I'm walking out there and I'm like, the crowd that they've got out there and it is a remarkable event now that has just exploded in popularity, and the crowd out there is absolutely, how much has it grown since you were up on stage?
I don't know. It was a pretty big deal the year that I did it. I felt like the crowd was big. Obviously, it's grown, but I think the biggest thing is that just you take a lot of stuff that you can use from this day. Like everything, every speaker, I don't know if it's intentional or not, but they bring things that you can go apply and fairly easy. And so it's a really good event.
We were talking with Clint Hartman from Midland Legacy earlier, who spoke earlier today, and we mentioned how this is clinic season. A lot of clinics going on, and you can learn how to run a blitz package out of a 3-4 and stuff like that. But here, it's like you're focusing on the other 98% of your job. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm just curious, from your perspective as a guy who's been a coach for quite a while, what you're hoping to take from events like this?
Man, it's a leadership summit, and so finding ways in our profession to help coaches, first of all, become better leaders, coordinators, assistants, and then find tools and resources to help our kids become better leaders. And that's the deal. We always hear it that player-led football teams are the best football teams, and I got to find a way to get our football team to be more player-led. And there's some good stuff. There's some people here that are really good at it. So.
All right, I want to go back to last year, to 2024, and I want to do what all coaches love to do, which is talk about losses. I want to go back to the first. This
is why I'm his favorite. You make it too easy.
No. I promise this is going someplace good.
This is good.
I promise it's going someplace good.
Take it bad.
Y'all started 0-2.
Yes.
You started 0-2. In your first year there at North Forney, y'all then rattled off. Ended up finishing with an 8-4 record. So y'all turned it around quickly. What was the conversation like at 0-2 that then turned this thing around, that turned you guys into a team that you did not want to see across the field by the time that you got to week 5 or 6?
Perspective. I think that it was important for our kids to keep our process in perspective. Like, we want to win all the games. I want to win them all too, but the point of non-district play is getting ready for district play. And so I needed our kids to know, look, what we're doing right now, even though we ain't winning them, we're learning some valuable lessons that are going to help us when we get into district play. When those guys saw the progress, even though we didn't win, the result didn't change, but they saw process from week 1 to week 2, week 2 to week 3, then we finally got a win, and then that validates everything that you're talking about. And so having to have those guys keep it in perspective was just a real big deal. And it's a strain. It's a strain. You're trying to get that trust, and they hadn't had any success under you. And so we had to keep things in perspective and know that we're building up with a bigger end goal in mind.
Because I have to imagine that's a challenge for you. As you know, you're the new guy in the room. You're the new guy. And here you are, sitting there at 0-2, and they're like, this guy,
slap.
Yeah, exactly right. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. Whereas you're like, all right, I know ball. Yeah. I know we're going to get this thing turned around, but they don't know that. And so I have to imagine that was a real challenge for you to just keep the train on the tracks there during that early period.
Yeah, it's tough. And then you got to start really redefining success on a day-to-day basis. You got to find ways, even though at 0-2, find ways to celebrate what's actually going right with the football team. And we had a lot of things going right even when we weren't winning. So when we started highlighting those things and improving on those things, it helps us.
All right, let me ask you about a guy that I'm sure you get asked about a lot. QB1?
Uh-oh.
About Legend?
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about Legend Bay.
Yeah.
Your leading passer, your leading rusher. I don't know if he stirs the Gatorade. I don't know what he does. But it seemed like every time we were flipping on North Forney highlights, it's a snootful Legend Bay. The numbers are impressive, but you're the guy who sees him every day in practice and stuff like that. What is it about this young man, your quarterback, that makes him special?
He's just God-gifted ability. Mm-hmm. He's probably one of the most explosive athletes that I've been around, a strong kid with just God-given ability and talent. Loves to compete in the game of football, and that separates him. He's got a chance to be, if not one of the best athletes, I think, to ever play Texas high school football, depending on how he goes out and finishes. And he's electric. He's a guy that, Ohio State, Notre Dame, who've never seen him run a route in a football game, say, hey, you can come to our school and play the wide receiver position. That don't happen all the time. And so he's an athlete, plays a quarterback position, can do a lot of different things, but that's his biggest thing that he brings to the table, this God-given ability. He's growing in so many areas as a leader, as a guy that's showing up every day, growing.
Right. So you got QB1. I want to put him to the side for a minute. What besides him has you really fired up about this 2025 Falcons team?
What we're going to be able to be up front.
Okay.
Our O-line and D-line, although young on the offensive line, we got some big, strong kids. They'll be well coached. But to win in this league, you got to be able to go play with people up front that have big humans. And we have some size. We have some guys. And any team that I've been on that's been any good, we've been led by the guys up front. And so I'm really excited about the progress of the guys in the trenches so far.
And finally for you, this is a second year for you there at North Forney. How important for you is it to just have a normal, I don't want to say boring, but just a normal put one foot in front of the other off season with your guys, that they know what to expect, they know who's going to be in the corner office, they know the expectation. How important is that for you and the program you're hoping to build there?
It's huge. Yeah. It's huge. It needs some stability. We have players in our program that need stability, and so we have that going on right now. It's a big deal for us to have an opportunity for a long span of time to be able to put our culture out there and to build that culture. People say, well, you didn't have an off season, so you didn't get a chance to really build culture. Well, that's not true. You build culture every day. But when you're coming into our district and you got to play programs with established cultures, right? Like Rockwall, like Longview, like Rockwall Heath, like Forney, teams that have established cultures, and you haven't really established yours, it gives us an opportunity to really do that, to really put one foot in front of the other and then live that out over a longer span of time and then go compete against them and see what it's about.
He's Marcus Shavers. He's our big hitter.
The big hitter.
That's why we go out there.
The biggest hitter.
The biggest hitter. The North Forney Falcons. Coach, appreciate your time, my friend. Appreciate you taking some time.
Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely.
Ashley, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Anytime.
All right. Okay.
Literally anytime.
All right. That's the end of the show. We are Texas Football Today. We're here Mondays and Thursdays on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at TexasFootball.com.